the regular season finale as the Cardinals host the Champlin Park Rebels. Joe Yund and Bill Hupp up above the action, and a tough test for a Cardinal team that has struggled to score. A very stingy defense on the other side, sitting near the top of the conference.
Yep, Champlin Park comes in sitting third in the NWSA table. They've won 4 of their last 5 games. They played tight defense. They, even in their losses, 3 of their 4 losses this year have been by 1-0 score lines. Cardinals, meanwhile, have lost 4 straight games, coming in 5 of their last 6. And the critical thing, Joe, they've only scored 1 goal in that run. So how will the Cardinals get on the board offensively? How will they get goals? That's going to be the key to whether they can hang with this really talented Rebels team.
Rebels will start with the ball. Cardinals senior captain goaltender Luke Rising rises to the challenge night after night.
And like most games, including that 2-0 loss to Park Center the other day that you called, he's going to have to do his best to keep this team in the game, most likely. But he's certainly someone, the 3-year starter, that the Coon Rapids team has really come to rely upon.
Well, and I expect to see Champlin Park similar to the Park Center team as far as just really good possession, and as I say that, they lose it out of bounds, but maintaining possession, passing well, building, keeping it away from the Cardinals, and just not giving them any sniffs at the net.
Yeah, no doubt. They're probably going to keep the ball. They're going to look to possess, keep their shape, and then try to get them where they can. But Coon Rapids has the ability with its speed up top to score on the counterattack, and that's where the Cardinals will try to hurt Champlin Park, who, as we said, is very, very stingy, very senior-laden back line, including Diego Connell, one of their captains, and goaltender Evan Martin, who's a multi-year starter for the Rebels as well.
Ibrahim on the near side moves it along for Reyes.
A lot of one-touch passing so far, and like we thought, keeping their shape, working the ball side to side, really making Coon Rapids move.
Cardinals able to win possession momentarily. Kamvonksik got in there and stole it back for the Rebels, trying to set up on the Cardinal side of midfield.
So it's going to be important, Joe, for Coon Rapids similarly to keep their shape. They're going to have, 10, 11 guys behind the ball and make themselves difficult to break down. They're going to force Champlin Park to try to break them down to score. And if they can do that, I think they're going to be able to stay in this game.
Cardinals able to stop up the momentum in deep, at least force Champlin back out near midfield. Sano through the middle, and it's lost to Rising. He'll have to scoop it up as the pressure comes.
Joe, what did you think of Park Center on Monday night?
The boys possessed the ball very, very well. They passed, they used the whole field, frequently brought it all the way back to their defensive line and reset, tried to spread the Cardinals out. It was, they had 2 goals that were waved off for offside. They brought a lot of pressure, built good scoring chances for themselves. And Coon Rapids, to their credit, did create a couple of scoring opportunities, but if you're only going to see the opportunities a couple of times a game, you need a perfect strike rate, which is something you can't exactly ask.
Yeah, you need to be really clinical with your finishing if you're only going to get, to your point, a couple of chances. And when you don't take those chances, as the Cardinals have not done lately, that's when they struggle to score, and that's when you're going to lose tight games. And so the Cardinals all season long have been in contests, but they have just struggled to sort of put teams away. They should have won that Anoka game here, but they allowed the Tornadoes to hang around. They didn't get that second goal, and then Anoka tied it up with less than a minute left to play.
Well, and goals have been at a premium for both Coon Rapids soccer programs over the last number of years. The girls have scored much better, especially of late, 13 goals in their last 2 games. But, the answers are so hard to come by, and I pre-game was talking with some parents up in the booth. This one headed but out of bounds, and it'll be a Cardinal goal kick. Talking about they're thinking too much, and that's, that weighs on you as an athlete. You know that you haven't scored in 4 games, and you only have one goal in your last 6.
It's an excellent cross there by the Rebels, but just before it went over the byline, but ultimately could not get much on the header there. But yeah, no. Sometimes you can pass it too much. You have to be willing to shoot, even when you think it's a long shot. You can't be too precious with your possession, especially when you know that you're a team that struggles to score. You got to be willing to let it fly.
Young in the middle, knocked to the turf. That'll draw the whistle. Another free kick for the Cardinals.
Jackson Young, the rare multi-sport star within seasons, as he has also become the place kicker on the football team, and done pretty adequate job for sure.
He's done a very nice job. He's the son of former Cardinal head coach John Young, who and I spoke with him about it one day when he was here waiting for Jackson to finish up football practice. When he was coaching, they almost always had a soccer player come kick for him on Friday nights. Maybe come to one practice a week, and on Friday night, come kick the ball.
So Blaine last year, or the last 2 years really, they had a boys soccer player, and they had Kendall Stadden, of course, the all-conference, all-state girls soccer player for the Bengals, share the kicking duties. Kendall was more of the sort of close range accuracy specialist, took the extra points and whatnot, and the other kicker for them, for the boys, would attempt things from like 30 yards out and more. So they definitely utilized that strategy to great success, particularly 2 years ago when Stadden was a junior.
Well, the Cardinals at least keeping the ball in the Rebel end the last 90 seconds or so, and a couple of shot attempts that were blocked a ways out. Not what I would consider a real scoring chance, but zone time is the first step to creating scoring chances.
Yep, no question about it, and good job by the Rebels defense to block those shots, but to have those looks in the first place, to have it enough, because we've seen Coon Rapids in some of their games this season, they've gotten the ball, but then it's just gone right back, right? They have not controlled the midfield. So if they can establish more of a foothold in the midfield this time, possess it, they'll be able to string together enough passes to get some looks.
Noah Akassip keeps it in on the near sideline. Rebels able to win possession back. Ibarra in the middle, long pass broken up by Austin Hacker. Skips right to Jackson Young, back to Hacker. Quickly pressured and pushed along by Ruelas.
Coon Rapids missing their head coach tonight. Unable to attend due to a family emergency, but hopefully that won't affect the Cardinals too much, as that program with the assistant coach in charge is they know what they need to do.
Young puts it all the way back down to the Rebel end anyhow. Champlin Park not afraid to work it back upfield. Now a long through ball off the head of Sano. Hacker gets it turned around for the Cardinals.
Yeah, it's very popular, Joe, for teams to play out of the back. So you'll see them pass back through their defense and through their goaltender or their goalkeeper just to keep possession.
Arthur in the corner, bumped off it by Kish, allowing it to roll out the end line and creating a goal kick for the Cardinals.
Played like a hockey defenseman there. Good job using his body to shield that one over the line. Textbook from Kish. Kish brothers, extremely important for the Cardinals team this year.
Well, Ben has been a big piece of this puzzle for the last 3 seasons. This whole senior group, I think, all pretty much started as sophomores. A couple years ago, this team was very, very young.
Right, and that continuity, Joe, is so important, right? Especially on the back line with Kish and Rising, because communication and that comfort, knowing what your teammate wants to do, is so critical. And again, the Cardinals, despite maybe not being quite as talented or whatever as some of the teams they've played, they've been able to stay in games because they have that sort of defensive solidity. Now they just got to search for the offense. Who's going to put the ball in the back of the net? And like you said, it's a problem that's existed for several seasons now.
Well, and again, Gavin Stevenson would have been their top forward had he not chosen to go play club soccer. Understandable that he made that decision. A little bit higher profile soccer and an opportunity to get maybe some more looks. I understand it. And the Cardinals, I'm sure, all understand it. And they know that they still have enough to compete and win, even against teams like Champlin Park that are toward the top of the Northwest Suburban.
And if you're toward the top of the Northwest Suburban like Champlin Park is, then you've got a good side for sure, because the NWSC's got the #1 team in state right now in Maple Grove, but it's a pretty deep conference in all sports, and boys soccer is no exception.
Well, give and go along the left sideline, trying to get Kish, Adam Kish that is, down the sideline with speed. Played away out of bounds and out of danger.
Talked about this the last time I was here for the Anoka game. I really like these new kits. Was talking to Tyler Seidel about it, and said one of the assistant coaches designed them and stuff. They look really good. The stripes in the front.
Up close.
Yeah.
It's really hard to see the numbers from here.
That's fair.
But I frequently complain about jerseys. I'm not a huge fan of Champlin Parks. The basic, navy on white I get, but the number font could be bigger.
Yes. It's not conducive for TV, that's for sure.
Oh, on TV, I think it looks okay. But unfortunately, I try to watch the actual game and not the monitor. And for these old eyes, the front of those jerseys is a little difficult. I suppose it's a little difficult for TV as well. Corner kick upcoming. Lester Arthur will take it for Champlin Park. Goes near post. The header way early by Poston. Goes well wide of the post. And out of bounds.
Yeah, at Champlin Park, you can see their strategy. They're trying to get the ball wide and then have someone cross it down the wings, but they're playing it down the down line into the channels, having their wings run onto it, their midfielders run onto it, and then get those crosses in. And the Cardinals holding their own so far. Champlin Park has probably had the better of the chances, both via headers, but have not forced Rising to make a save.
Again, Arthur trying to work down that left side and get a cross in deep. Cardinals able to deny it, not able to work their way out along the near sideline.
Those are the kind of turnovers or mistakes. I think maybe Jackson Young could have had taken a little more time and turned, but tried to get it right back and get a little give and go. It just didn't work out. How will the wind affect things too? That's the other thing, right? You can hear it in the microphones. It's a little chillier, a little windier down there than it has been.
Oh, it's 20 degrees cooler than it was Monday night when they played Champlin Park, and that was the late game. Maybe not quite that significant, but pretty close.
It was like, high 80s.
On Monday afternoon, yeah.
You see the Cardinals just dropping off, allowing Champlin Park to possess the football. Nice step there.
Derby Bone intercepts and clears.
And they're okay. They're okay inviting pressure onto them. They just have to know when to step and when to sort of intercept those passes. But they're fine letting Champlin Park dominate possession, which is, as we said, what the Rebels want to do.
Fearborn at the back. Will put a big left leg into it down the right sideline. Coming back to it was Konvoncic. In the middle, a shot blocked away by a Cardinal defender. Arthur kind of went down funny as he tried to stop up and play it back.
Yeah, that looks like a scary, almost one of those turf non-contact injuries, but good to see him up. Cardinals got to step on those shots when a Rebel is charging through like that. As we take a look at what happened, just tried to cut it back, and yeah, he got his foot stepped on.
Derby Bone stepped on his foot. That can't feel good.
No.
Oh, building in the middle. A chance and a goal. Kafima Sano finishes it off. He and Arthur were right there in the middle. And just into the 16th minute, Rebels are on the board.
And that was just Sano reacting to it quickly. Poor touch from Lester Arthur, just a little heavy, but it went right to Sano. So he just put himself in the right spot and was able to sweep it home.
Was it a little heavy, or was he setting it on a tee? Because he definitely teed it up.
It might have been.
It looked in the replay as if he was shielding the Cardinal defender as he touched it, and it was.
So he laid it off.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
All right.
He just and.
Well, we'll go with that. I wasn't sure if he just took a heavy touch and it just worked out for him, but I think you're probably right, Joe. That was intentional, and great assist from Arthur, though, setting up Sano.
Cardinals with a free kick. They could go direct from here, and they do, and a relatively easy save for Evan Martin as it came right at his chest.
And I was saying, when you have a hard time scoring, sometimes the best thing is to score off set pieces or to take advantage of set pieces, whether it's free kicks, corner kicks.
Well, and I've never claimed to be any sort of soccer strategy expert. But you talk about allowing them to bring the pressure, and when they get to midfield, I understand that philosophy. But especially when you have so much struggle scoring, when you have them deep, I would expect to see more pressure on the ball. And I haven't seen that.
Yep. Yeah, and you can soak up pressure and invite them onto you, but part of the strategy then is that you can hit them on the counter, right? Because all the Rebels are forward, and then you can counterattack and use your speed up top to take advantage. That's part of the idea behind conceding possession.
Sylvain serves it into the middle. Headed right back out by the Rebels. Arthur will tap it back to Ibrahim. And see, no pressure. There's a little bit of a step up at the end there by Keegan Anderson, and eventually they do turn it over.
Already the fifth foul on Champlin Park, as a great call there. Ibrahim just warding off and kind of getting in the way, and he knew exactly what he was doing as that ball
100%.
was traveling along the sideline. So again, here's one of those set piece opportunities now for the Cardinals.
Sauve from the near side. Right into the middle, punched away by the keeper, still alive. The Rebels headed out of bounds on the far side.
Great decisive defending by Champlin Park right there. Not a bad ball by Sauve. I like how Tom, the PA announcer, called him free kick specialist. AJ Sauve, and he did. He put a good ball. And Martin, with a decisive decision, didn't get a great punch on it, but enough to allow Diego Connell to rise and head it away.
Just about midway through this first half. That one well high and wide. And it'll be the first goal kick of the night for Champlin Park.
No, Sauve, I think, would like that one back. Those crosses, you have to have runners at the far post. You have to have targets in the box. Otherwise, it's just a waste. Great ball.
Pushed along by Ruilis. Sano fires, diving save.
Ooh, that was a dive. It was either a dive or it should have been a penalty.
I looked to me like Luke grabbed him.
Yeah,
Great save by Luke Rising on the initial shot from Sano.
Tremendous save. And then, yeah, did he get a piece as he was scrambling for that ball? And my point is just that if you're not going to call it a penalty kick, it's got to be a dive because he went to turf. But yeah, the initial stop, sometimes you can direct it right into the path of an attacker. But Cardinals able to survive that one.
Sano working to the middle of the field, trying to cross over in front of Kish. They come together. Whistle sounds.
Oh,
Kish is going to be called for the foul, and this is going to be just outside the box. So not a PK, but
I wonder if he just called obstruction for stepping in the path of Ibrahim. Kish seems a little baffled by it. But yeah, Ibrahim, or rather Sano. Yeah, and he does just kind of get in his. I've definitely seen that let go of them before. So that's a little harsh from the ref, but Sano has looked really, really good so far.
Chase Poston will handle the free kick for Champlin Park. He'll go direct, punched up and out of play by Luke Rising.
Rising seems confused, like, I don't know why you let that go. They had no wall in front of them, which was unusual, but Rising perfectly positioned to just help it over the bar, and you can see Poston. He had the entire goal to aim for, and he went right at the keeper.
First corner kick attempt headed back out of bounds by Austin Hacker. And the Rebels will try again. And they'll just pass into a delay play for that back post. And just out of the reach of Diego Connell.
Yeah, that was a classic, Joe. That was a classic training ground move. You go short, and then you set up and you get a better angle. And sometimes the defenders, the purpose of going short right there is to loosen up the defense and have guys come out to you. So then, guys lose their marks and whatnot.
Connell may have gotten that ball with his hair.
Yeah.
It was that close.
Oh, it was a served up on a tee to the back post, but Champlin Park didn't have anyone there.
Rebels back into possession just on their side of midfield. Ibrahim will bring it up to midfield. Try and push it through. Kish gets up and heads it back the other way. He'll get another chance, this time with the foot. And the Rebels stop it up near midfield. This time Connell is there. Cardinals will just send that one out of play. Jamel Yafondo checking in for Champlin Park.
pretty senior-laden team. About half of the starting lineup are seniors, pretty experienced, as we said, especially with Evan Martin in between the posts.
Hacker with a good step up, takes the ball away.
He is so fearless, Joe. It's fun watching him play.
Well, and he's another guy that's played since he was a freshman, and I mean, he's not the biggest guy out there now. He was even smaller as a freshman, and he had a broken arm or wrist, so he had a great big club on one hand, which looked extraordinarily large because he was smaller.
Yes, exactly. But he got after it, and yeah, he plays fearless, which you have to as a fullback.
Yafando gets through the middle, tried to get it on the backside for Kvansuk on the run. It's a big steal and clear.
Yeah, great recovery there by the Coon Rapids defense, as it was a nice ball, right idea. Sauve contributing on both ends. Rain starting to fall here at Cardinal Stadium. The umbrellas out beneath us.
Long ball to the top of the 18, set up for Sano. He was grabbed a little bit. Kish got away with that one.
The ref was right there. I'm not sure how he missed it.
Well, Sano went forward, and there was a whole lot of jersey behind him.
His jersey stayed behind. It was plain as day. We could see it up here with our old eyes. You notice
Kish able to body off Sano for the ball there.
He's such a good target man, though, in the middle.
He ends up right back in control of the ball.
Wow, that looked like another potential penalty for the Rebels.
Well, he got the ball first.
Well, desperate tackle, but a good tackle ultimately. I don't know.
Oh, he did not. I'm not so sure he.
I think two things. I think Safo tapped it past, or Sano tapped it past the defender.
Go to the back post on the corner this time. Still loose out front. Cardinals can't work it out. Another shot blocked by the defenders. Able to get it out the far side and force at least a throw-in.
Absolutely heroic defending. Again, just blocking shot after shot. They can't clear the danger, but you'll see multiple blocks in here. Great job by the Cardinals selling out to stop that.
Well, that was Connor Young in the middle there. Talking about being small but still fearless. If we had let that roll through, I think he had the block on the very next shot before they got it out the sideline.
But what we were saying before, I think Sano anticipated the tackle, tapped the ball away from the defender, but then the defender pulled out of the tackle, and Sano still kind of dragged his foot and went down. So a good no call by the ref. And the Cardinals still just trail it by a goal. Joe, it seems like Rising always has really good instincts about when to come off his line for those kind of long balls and whatnot. I haven't seen him make too many bad decisions when it comes to coming to get the ball. And he's aggressive enough that when he decides to come out, he comes out full force.
He's a hockey player.
Well, there you go. That explains it.
But I completely agree. There's no indecision when he decide when there can't be. Kind of like I was indecisive on exactly how I was going to say that.
Well, this game is, Joe, so far it's playing out kind of what we thought. Champlin Park's possessing the ball. They had a nice, well-worked goal. Coon Rapids is defending admirably, keeping it close, but just still looking for a few more offensive opportunities to test Evan Martin.
Jerry Freeman on the field up front for the Cardinals.
Good to see Noah Kossip out there now as well, making his first appearance.
Actually, that's Fidel DiQuamani up front,
replacing Freeman, and then Kossip is kind of sitting in the middle there, just behind the lone striker. And that's the kind of guy. Kossip scored a beautiful headed goal against Anoka off a corner. That's the kind of target man at 6'2" that you want.
I was going to say, he's noticeable out there. He takes up some space.
He does. Just a sophomore. You can still see he's pretty raw, but the skills are there, and certainly the athletic ability on those headed balls.
And you can't coach height.
No. Years of broadcasting have taught us that.
Yeah.
Champlin Park just so patient, working it side to side. They never, almost ever, take more than 2 or 3 touches with it before they get rid of it.
Jackson Young called for the push, and he's going to get a foul for kicking the ball away.
That's a needless yellow, and they're calling that kind of thing these days as a delay of game. They're trying to get that out of the game, so he'll have to take a spell on the sideline.
And it's hard to argue. You may have used a little. Can't do that. I think it should be allowed, personally. But where do you draw the line?
But you're a hockey guy, so
body checking is not legal in soccer. Yeah. Oh, header just went wide off the long free kick.
Yeah, steered at the goal there by beautifully by Cameron Peach. And you see Rising just rooted to the spot. There was no way he was going to save that, so Peach just couldn't sneak it inside that right post. Joe, I found out something interesting the other day when it comes to high school soccer rules. If a straight red is issued, the player leaves like it's a yellow card, but can return. You just have to take somebody off.
Huh?
That player that gets the red card is not, they're suspended for the next game, but they can continue to play in this game. They just have to go off for a play like it's a yellow card. And you as a coach can decide which piece of
bench
your
player?
team, which piece of your team. No, you have to play down a person, right? You have to lose a player, so it's 10v11. But that person who got the red card can finish the game.
Rising slides out, gets that one away.
This is obviously not how it goes for every other league I've seen.
Yeah, a little bit too much body contact on that one for Landon Wolf. We'll get them another free kick, and we've seen them getting creative on their set pieces and getting good chances.
But a great punch there by Rising to come off his line and claim that one. But yeah, you're right. They've run some training ground moves and they've done a couple different things, because what you don't want is to become predictable.
Back he goes to Fearborn. He'll take a little bit of time with it and now sweep it along for Ibrahim. He'll take his time. Plenty of room to look. Connected the pass with Rothermall, but Cardinals able to disrupt, at least get it back to Ibrahim.
that's the thing. If you sit back this much, Joe, you're just giving them time to pick out a pass.
Lester Arthur. A long through ball, too far, and Rising will slide out to scoop it up.
Good job again by the senior as they were looking to hit a cutting Diego Connell. Connell making a nice run. I mean, it seems like Champlin Park, they've got some real soccer IQ to them, making runs and knowing when to be unselfish with it. But the Cardinals keeper read it well.
Stolen away on the near sideline by Gulbranson, who got it at least out past midfield, at least momentarily.
And Joe, it just seems, I don't know how you feel, but the Cardinals' first 15 minutes had more possession. The field is tilting in the direction of the Cardinals' goal, especially the last 15, 20 minutes.
Just under 6.5 to play in the first half. Rebels on a goal in the 16th minute by Kafima Sano. Have that 1-0 lead. They're going to play it all the way back to Evan Martin. Ibrahim, long ball through the middle, stopped up by Adam Kish. Peach has it there, trying to work against Kish. Played it to the outside. Good battle for it by Sovi to steal it away. Sovi got it ahead as he was being tackled. The Rebels get it right back in. Ibrahim stops up, now plays it back for Poston. Pass ahead was cut off. Rebels able to get it stopped up. Settled by Arthur, got it to Poston. Poston marked closely. His pass is taken away by Austin Hacker. Poston a little slow to get up.
Hacker reads the game really well. Nice step there. He's had a couple times tonight where he's stepped well and intercepted the Champlin Park attack.
Taro trying to move it along. Hacker again disrupting things. Rebels work it back for Fearborn. Long pass to the far side. Connor Young stepped up to break that up. Again, Champlin will take it all the way back to their goalkeeper.
Well, Champlin, especially in the last 5 minutes or so, has probably had about 80% possession, 85% possession, but haven't been able to do much with it, as they're sort of being held in the middle of the field by Coon Rapids. Cardinals proving difficult to break down.
Connor Young on the far side gets it back for Noah. And now Austin Hacker. Set up there for Arthur. He'll take a little loop. And now chip it along off the back of Peach. Right back to Arthur. Here's Peach defending. Leaves it for Arthur again in the middle. Hounded by Kish. Gets it back to Ibrahim. Opportunity in close, but a save for Luke Rising.
That went right to Samba Joby off of a header from Coon Rapids trying to clear it, and Joby managed to kind of get a little volley to himself, but not much on the shot.
Young stops up with it. Tried to get it into the middle. DeQuamani took that one off the eyebrow. Just a quick wake-up call. Otero moves it along. Little jump over the ball by Peach. Just let it keep going.
Yeah, it's called a dummy in soccer, and usually you do that when you know a teammate's behind you, right? So that the defense freezes and the guy behind you can get possession. Another corner now coming up for Champlin Park.
Their fourth of this first half. Arthur, high ball to the back post. Off of Champlin Park head, out the far side.
Cardinals obviously hoping to get to halftime trailing by just a goal. And they've battled admirably. 16 minutes in, they find themselves down 1-0, but they've really scrapped these last 24 minutes to keep this a close game, as we exactly what we thought they would at the top of the broadcast. Effort is never a question with this Coon Rapids team.
As we reach the final minute of the first half, you talk about keeping it close. That we knew coming in that this is not a Rebels team that would probably blow the doors off of the scoreboard, but would make it very difficult to score. The Cardinals have had a couple of sniffs at the other end. As you had mentioned, it was before the midway point of the first half, probably within the first 15 minutes. And for the most part, this last part of the first half has been all Champlin Park.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And I would say the first 10 minutes, Coon Rapids was hanging tough and battling. The last 30 have been largely the Rebels, including that goal. But Coon Rapids will still get to halftime trailing by just a goal and still very much in this game.
And a long rumble of thunder off in the distance as the buzzer sounds. We should be back with the second half after this. You're watching Boys Soccer live on CTN. Back at the Cardinals Stadium, brief rain showers, a little bit of wind pushing through at halftime. Just one tally on the board. Park Center has spent some time down in this neck of the woods, but that one lone strike for Kafima Sano in the 16th minute. Cardinals got a couple of looks at the opposite end, but for the most part, it's been in Champlin Park's control. Sano, another good opportunity. Diving save by Rising.
Yeah, Luke Rising has definitely kept the Cardinals in this game, and then some dogged defending, blocking shots, getting their bodies in the way, selling out Connor Young a couple times. They've had a lot of set pieces and corners, but still just one goal.
Yeah, they've had a couple of those headers off of the set pieces that have gone just wide. So they're on the cusp of opening up a larger lead, but the Cardinals are right in this one, and all it takes is one bounce. We'll see what happens in the second half. It's after this on CTF. All right, Howie, take a look. Our opponents are on this side, and the Cardinals are over here. Where's the line of scrimmage?
Right here.
Good. So obviously the Cards want to get the ball downfield anywhere over here, and the other guys are pushing back this way over here. So one strategy would take...
Hey, Joe!
What?
Tic-tac-toe, I win!
Russell. Back at the sports complex, Cardinals start the second half with possession, but they will be going into the wind for this second half, trying to catch up, trailing the Champlin Park Rebels by 1. Oh, and spun away from Derby Bone. Cardinals can't keep it in on the far sideline.
Yeah, we'll see if the rain and wind affects play. It's not really significant enough where I would expect it to, but Champlin Park had to feel really good about how they finished that first half despite not being able to add to their lead. They really dominated and had were on the front foot the last 10 minutes.
Well, and the players probably like the cooler temps. Monday night was unseasonably warm. This is more the temperature they expected to play in. We'll see if that becomes a problem as the sun is getting below the cloud cover, and Luke Rising will be looking right into it in the second half. Here he's tested, and he's able to make the save.
Yeah, you see him with his hand in his eyes, basically, right before that shot. Great shot there, but why not take a rip from distance as Champlin Park and Carter Havelack did. Easy for me to say.
Poston trying to push it ahead, turned around by Derby Bone. Rebels able to win it right back.
Do the Rebels, Joe, from your eye, play similarly to Park Center?
Very. They probably work the ball more with their midfield and forwards and not as much with their defensive back line. Is shot from in close, but it's off the side of the net. Goal kick upcoming.
Snow has gotten the best shots off today. One that Rising dove to his right and made a save on, and that one blasted into the side netting. Just didn't have an angle for it.
And, of course, the one he scored.
Yeah, and the one he scored, yep, with his left foot.
Everything's been with his left foot.
True.
Not saying he can't use his right foot, but clearly left foot dominant.
Yep.
And it's a dominant left leg.
It is, yeah. He's a big kid. He presents a big target up top for this Champlin Park attack. And they go through him, so it ends up being a little more narrow. But they have been a threat, as we've seen on set pieces, just have not been able to put those headers on net.
Sauve's pass cut off by Poston. Poston in control, able to step around Jackson Young, get it ahead. Broken up again by Sauve. Young collides with Connell. Connell stumbled but came away with the ball.
Connell throwing his body around, and that time he gets whistled for it as he knocked over the slender Jackson Young.
And Sano was just trying to gain speed going around that left side, working it to his strong side.
Well, and you can hardly fault high school players for not being two-footed when there's so many professional players in the Premier League in England and whatnot that aren't two-footed. I've seen so many good players that are shockingly one-footed. Counterattack now for Champlin Park.
Good speed, played to the near side. The long run for Havelak. Havelak able to get around the corner and deep, trying to cross out front. Went right between two different Champlin Park attackers. Had one right up on the post and one about 8 yards out.
Great cutback by Havelak. Just did not find the feet of a teammate.
Ibrahim's cross was blocked out of bounds. Another corner kick upcoming, and they continue to get to work on their set pieces.
He didn't quite need to drag it to the end line because he got a step, and he got the defender on his hip, and that allowed him to.
Kish got ahead to it first. Stopped up. The cross from Arthur was just behind Kamvangsuk.
And I believe it took a deflection, Joe, which is why it was behind Kamvangsuk. But, yeah, a couple Rebels had a crack at it, but just not on target. Great job by the Cardinals. Anything you can to get a block in on the crosses and the shots.
Young's pass broke it up by Poston, leaves it back for Kamvangsuk. Connell will play it back to Ibrahim at midfield. Connell working against Adam Kish into the middle. One touch back. Kamvangsuk had a header on it. Cardinals got a touch. Sovi's pass bounces away from Young and right to Poston. In the middle, Ibarra. Challenged. And a good clear from Derby Bone. A good ball behind, but now they're going to say it was offside as Lester Arthur was there. He did put it in the net, but offside, and the Cardinals will keep it a 1-0 lead.
As we see the replay here, and that is not offside. That was onside, and that should have been a goal for Russell. He timed that one perfectly. Cardinals catch another break. It was close, but he was decidedly onside.
Well, and it seemed on Monday there were a couple of questionable ones, including one of the goals that was taken away from the Park Center boys team, where it was the same kind of thing. When the ball was struck, there was a defender downfield. But when the ball got to that last line, diving save by Rising.
Rising with really strong hands there, Joe. Diving to his right to make that stop. And a lot of times on a shot that hard, you spill a rebound. But he didn't right there.
It was a rifle from Poston.
Oh, yeah, Poston got his laces behind that one, as they say.
Kish able to keep it away from Sano. Pokes it ahead. Will give and go. Adam Kish had to wait on a bouncing ball. Tipped into the corner. Ben Kish gets around the corner. Cross was blocked. A chance for Adam Kish. He fanned on it. Two Cardinals run into one another out front. And the Rebels going back the other way. Long ball. Sano behind the defense. Cardinals trying to catch up. Sovi disrupts a little. Kept in bounds by Sano, and the Cardinals cleared out the far side. Great job getting back by A.J. Sove.
Oh, they needed him too, absolutely. If anything, I thought that one might be onside. I was looking at the side official to see,
well, there was a
ref to see if the flag would go up, but it didn't.
Well, and there was one like that too on Monday night. I didn't know if it didn't. Opportunity and a goal for Ibarra as he got it in the middle and did not miss.
That was very well worked by Champlin Park. Again, right down Main Street, just a little give and go off of Sano. He just lays it off, and Caleb Ibarra, the junior, made no mistake from the top of the box. And this goal, let's be honest, was coming the way that Champlin Park had been attacking the goal. Sano turning provider on this one. Well, they're teaching, Joe, and I don't know if they're teaching it at the high school level, but I know professionally they're teaching them to keep their flag down so they're not waving off goals incorrectly. But in the professional, they have video assistant, review.
Sure.
Here they don't, so I don't know why they would tell them to keep their flag down.
And I was going to say before the goal is there was one like that where it was a long through ball from the defensive end, and the forward was clearly 10 yards behind the defender when the ball was struck. If it is done from your half, does it mean there's no offside?
Oh, I don't think so. I don't think offside is waved off, but so I think that sounds just like a refereeing mistake because maybe the focus was on the other part of the field and the play that was happening there. Champlin Park really on the front foot now, really buzzing after getting their second goal and coming close on a couple others. It really should have been their third goal as they were robbed of a goal by Arthur Russell on a beautiful little connection. That's so unselfish with their through balls. Excuse me, Lester Arthur. What do they call him, Arthur Russell? That's their running back. You can tell.
Yeah.
You can tell I'm prepping for Champlin Park football this weekend.
I'd like to be prepping for Maple Grove football on Friday.
Yeah, what's the deal with that?
I don't know. They have their own broadcast partner over at Maple Grove Stadium is the word we're receiving. It's their property. In close, Sano trying to tap it home. Saved by, I think that was Sophie again in the right spot. Kish on the give and go, and then that pass got away a little bit, interrupted by Fearborn. And here's Ibarra with a little room to move.
Champlin Park, we talked about that they're comfortable playing close games and they're not usually blowing people out, but they have had a few opportunities to really put this one away here in the second half.
Bone can't clear. Hyatt slips it back to Austin Acker. Hacker will get it ahead as he takes a shot from Sano, and that leads to another free kick on the foul.
Side the Nat Mikes picking up the Champlin Park girls team as we take a look at the last chance for Centennial. Again, who's involved but Sano.
See, even there he used his left foot.
He did. Well, and it's like he tried to cross it, but there was only a Coon Rapids defender in front of goal.
Well, sometimes you put it near the net and good things happen.
Yeah, what's the hockey axiom? I know we keep coming back to hockey, but put it on net, puck's on net, right?
Good things happen when you shoot the puck at the net.
Yeah. Now, that holds true all the time, right? Not just when a team is struggling to score goals?
Correct.
Because it leads to rebounds and chances.
When all goals are scored at the net.
That is a fact. I don't know much about hockey, but I know that.
Yes, the puck must go into the net. So it starts with getting it there. Same scenario in soccer. Of course, there's so many more defenders, and things get so jammed up in there. But it is fun to watch good soccer teams that coordinate and move the ball well and set things up. The perfect kick off the corner, hooking in for Elijah Ibrahim.
The banana goal, Luke Rising can't believe it. But Ibrahim bends it in with the left foot, and that makes it 3-0, and that's going to be tough for Coon Rapids to come back from. What a goal. I can't wait to see this again.
Bending it like Beckham.
No doubt. Didn't get a touch. Rising, he just snuck it in at that near post. That's one of the goals of the season.
I was
right there. Wow. Special from Ibrahim.
That was very well executed. I was looking out as he kicked it, and I saw the loft and the amount of. I was looking out to the middle of the top of the 8 box for who was getting positioned to receive, and then noticed out of the corner of my eye as Luke Rising may have, that thing was bending into the net.
Yes.
And that'll give the Rebels a 3-0 cushion. Cardinals very little possession time this half. That shot blocked in close. Austin Hacker had it momentarily. Rebels able to regain control. Fearborn gets them some distance, a little breathing room.
Joe, if you ever see that again in a broadcast, it's called an Olympico, where it goes in from a corner without another player touching it. So Ibrahim with the Olympico from the near side to make it a 3-goal advantage for the Rebels.
Ibarra in the middle, pushed by Young, and
you can sense a little frustration now with the Cardinals. They hung tough in that first half, but Champlin Park has really found a footing in this game, and it could have been worse. Luke Rising has made, again, several tremendous saves to keep this one a game.
well, the Cardinals going into the wind, into the sun, and trying to climb out of a 3-0 hole.
And uphill, proverbially speaking. Not surprised right there that Poston tried to go for goal, but it was always going to have to be special. And I don't think you can fault Rising too much. I mean, who expects someone to go to try to bend it in at the near post?
Right.
And he almost got a finger to it, but he's out there playing for the header in the middle of the goal, and then all of a sudden he sees it bending, and he's like, shoot, that's going to sneak in at the near post. But that's part of the reason why strategically sometimes you'll put defenders on each post, and it's to prevent things like that from happening. Well, this Champlin Park team, Joe, you can tell why they're third in the Northwest Suburban Conference. They're pretty balanced, and they don't seem to have too many weaknesses in any part of the pitch.
Poston long boot cross into the corner.
Great switch.
Therefore, it was Lester Arthur. Had to look and remind myself whether it was Lester Arthur or Arthur Russell.
Yeah, you're going to screw that up at some point in this half, and it's going to be my fault. And I believe, not having called the Champlin game this year, but last year, that Arthur Russell is heavily involved in the Rebels offense for football.
Yeah, he is a nice. He had a huge kick return as well against the Cardinals during that crazy last 4.5 minutes, in which there were 4 touchdowns, 2 onside kick attempts, 1 successful. There was a blocked extra point, and then there was that kick return of about 85 yards to the inside the 5-yard line. It was impressive.
Well, I think, the record aside,
this one headed up and over by Sano. They had a lot of white jerseys out there too.
They did. Sano with a free header, and he should have done better with it. As you see, great ball by Ibrahim, just Ibrahim putting it on a plate for him, and he just couldn't keep it down.
Well, you see 4 attackers there, all waiting for that ball to come to him.
What I was going to say is, for better or worse this year, the Coon Rapids Cardinals football team is like big play central. It's big plays every game all over the place.
It has been fun to watch.
Obviously, Kaijan responsible for many of them.
Yeah, it did not factor into the game against Anoka offensively. He had 1 really impressive punt return for a touchdown that was called back on a hold, and he had 1 fantastic interception with a return. Now, the Cardinal defense came up with 4 interceptions in that game, 2 late in the 4th quarter, and twice the Cardinals got to goal-to-go situations, and they were not able to punch it in. End up losing by 6.
What did you think of that junior? I think is he a junior or a sophomore for Anoka, their quarterback?
Padani
Yeah,
is very good. He is
Got
very
an
good,
arm
and
on
I
him,
think
huh?
I think he had his lowest output of the season against the Cardinals. It was kind of a weird game, and of course, because I was running a camera and not commentating, my memory isn't quite as clear because I experienced it in a different way than I'm used to.
Sure.
But he is a really nice quarterback, to be sure, and they've got athletes on that team. I can see why they started out 3-0. Their schedule was favorable too.
Sure. Yeah, Podani, they've had a couple good quarterbacks there recently, and some good wide receivers. One of whom is a Division I wrestler, I believe.
This one played ahead,
What a
and
ball.
here's Arthur behind the defense. Didn't get a lot on it, and Rising makes the save.
Unbelievable ball by Diego Connell right into the path of Lester Arthur, and he just couldn't finish, but just played it beautifully right into the path of that striker, and he just couldn't get much on the shot. I think.
Well, and I think Sano looked at him and said, "Come on, man, use your left foot."
Or pass it to me, and I'll use mine. Yeah, good dummy there by by Arthur. I'm just gonna call him Arthur, and then my bases are covered.
Ibarra stepping up, great slide tackle by Sauve.
Yeah, one thing I've noticed about the Cardinals' defense is just not on the same page right there. Is they are really good at timing their tackles, and the slide tackle can be very dangerous in today's game if you don't get the timing right. But more often than not, Kish and Sauve and Jackson Young do. Some frustration up top from the Cardinals that they're hanging back. Wanted more red and black jerseys up top. Ben Kish getting a little frustrated.
Well, and normally a defenseman, they feel desperation. You got to put your players up front, try and get you on the board. And again, it's been a long couple weeks for the Cardinals without a goal.
They have not scored since September 21st. Another great ball.
And a good chance, a save by Rising as Havlik was right on the doorstep.
This time with his feet. Unbelievable. Luke Rising certainly could be a lot worse than the 3-0 it is right now.
Arthur trying to work through traffic, right to left. Sends it back toward the net, and Rising lays down and grabs it.
Well, the Cardinals know that Sano and Russell like to go to their left, they want to work right to left. But easier said than done to keep them off their left foots. Was that game, Joe, the Anoka, was it at Goodrich or here?
No, it was here.
It was here, okay.
Yep, and the Cardinals took the opening drive right down the field. It was 3rd and goal at the 1. They soaked up almost half of the first quarter, and that's when it was called for the Lightning in the area. Resumed on Saturday morning, and Cardinals led 21-8, but Anoka came back and got the win.
Tough losses between that and STMA. Cardinals could be.
Yeah, and the St. Michael one definitely got away from them, but
Oh, yeah.
I would say that one more so. That was 21-3 at half.
This week, St. Michael got up 29-8 over Champlin Park. Champlin Park scored a couple touchdowns, in the fourth quarter to make it look more respectable. But
yeah, that was a big win for St. Michael Albertville. And now in that Metro North, you have 3 teams at 4-1. 4 teams at 2-3, and 1 team Osseo at 0-5.
So a lot to still play for.
Well, and because going into last week's play, it was 3 teams at 3-1 and 2 at 2-2. So there was only 1 game separating 1st to 6th place.
tackle by Young to take it away from Sano.
Yeah, it's hard to get fired up when you're down 3-0. You haven't had the ball on your foot much. You've been defending all half.
It's tiring and frustrating. No, absolutely. And when you're struggling to put the ball in the back of the net, the other thing, Joe, too, is when you're struggling to score, you're keenly aware of that as a team, and you know defensively that your margin for error is next to nothing.
Right. It's a great stop by Connell.
Yeah, Connell and Poston, have been two of the more impressive players. Not surprising, they're wearing the captain's armbands for a reason. But they have been particularly impressive here for the Rebels, obviously along with Arthur and Sano. Do we have a sense of who the Cardinals might play or still too early to determine that?
I haven't looked at all. I suppose I could probably find that out.
Looks like they're going to sub the goalie, get the backup, Isaac Rolling on. He's waiting down below along with Cameron Peach.
He's hard to miss. I suppose it's the same neon that Evan Martin is wearing.
Yep. And he's pretty tall, too. Yeah, it's pretty rare. They talk about that Maple Grove game. It's pretty rare when CTN is not able to broadcast a Cardinals football
game.
And
this will be the second time this season weren't able to do the Centennial game either.
Yep.
Because they have North Metro is technically their home broadcaster. I get that.
Hopefully we gave you the broadcast clips at least to use on Sports Night. Hopefully North Metro did, I should say.
Yep, they did. And I don't know about the Crimson Sports Network.
Never heard of it. So that was news to me as Sano comes out along with Havlack. You see Rolling taking over, so some well-deserved rest now as we're inside of 15 minutes to play. Regular season wrapping up for both teams. Coon Rapids, I believe, just one or two more. I believe the girls, it's the last regular season game.
This is the last for both.
For both, okay.
Yep. This is the regular season finale for all four teams tonight.
Okay.
So it looks like probably Blaine.
Whom they'll see in a couple weeks. Or, no, they'll see
will be next week.
Yeah, next Thursday.
Tuesday, I believe, the first round. You could be right. I think it's Tuesday. Though.
Are we talking soccer or football?
We're talking soccer.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Because you asked who they would get. So I believe it will be Blaine. Yes, Blaine football will be next Thursday.
Yes.
But I believe the boys soccer team, just based on the Minnesota Sports or MinnesotaScores.net, which does the QRF, which most sections kind of go by that to eliminate the coach voting. I think coach voting still factors in a little bit, but just based on that, they'd be number 7 to Blaine's 2 in the section.
Bengals having a tremendous year this year. What about for the football team? Still too early to determine?
Yeah, I think that will be too early to tell, and it's really weird because they do the crossover at 6A. So, wherever the Cardinals end up, I would guess they're going to be a 4 or 5 seed.
And they're back in 6A this year.
Yeah. Well, they've played in the 6A tournament the last 2 years.
True, Prior Lake last year.
Yeah.
Lakers, a heck of a game.
Well, in Eden Prairie the year before that was a tough one. Jared Fearing, that's where he hurt his knee, was in that game at Eden Prairie. But because they do the crossover section 5 to 6 or whatever. I haven't really looked into it, but I want to see him finish strong. They got 3 games left. Maple Grove's going to be incredibly tough this Friday. I think Blaine and I'm trying to think of who they finish with. Farmington, that's it. I wanted to say Hutchinson, and I knew that was wrong.
Yeah, those are coin toss ones. Blaine 2-3 on the season, been without their starting quarterback in Frank Daniels most of the year.
I'll go out on a limb and say this is the first time in a long, long time that the Coon Rapids Cardinals beat the Blaine Bengals in football.
I think that's not a bad bet. I'll be joining the broadcast for that, doing sidelines.
Homecoming.
Would that be senior night as well? Or is that not the last home game? It is, right?
That is the last home game, yeah, because Farmington's on the road.
Well, hopefully you'll be able to do the Farmington game, because that is a peach of a facility.
Is it?
Really nice. Really, really nice.
Well, I was just going to say, why couldn't Farmington have the Farmington Sports Network? We couldn't be allowed to do that one, but we get the Maple Grove one because Maple Grove's closer.
Right. Well, Farmington does have its own broadcast network, but my buddy is the one who runs it.
Oh.
And his policy is usually a quid pro quo, right? So if Coon Rapids hosted Farmington, as long as Farmington was then allowed to broadcast, from Coon Rapids, he's usually fine with it.
Cardinals getting it in deep. Going to see if they can get a chance on this brand new keeper. This one's redirected and just going wide.
What an effort there from Edwin Boyce. Really, really good job just keeping up.
Volleyed it to himself a couple of different times, and that one redirected just wide.
And he'll have done better, right? Because he had the whole net, but it just went off the side of his foot, had enough side spin where it carried past that left post. And in these kind of games where, it doesn't look like you're going to win, at least getting a goal, especially the way that Coon Rapids' team has played.
A goal would mean a lot to this Cardinal
really
team in this final game of the regular season. Got a lot of deeper bench players getting an opportunity to play both sides late in this game, knowing it's the last game of the regular season. But yes, the Cardinals would love to score. They have not felt that goal celebration in a long time. And to get that monkey off their back before going into playoffs would be big.
It's such a confidence game, right? And it's no different than any other sport with a similar pursuit where you just want to see that ball go in the back of the net, and if it does, you feel that much better about things.
Boyce is coming out and trying to make things happen. A good job getting around the corner and cross in deep.
At that point, it's not a bad idea to give it a rip from distance. Because again, you're down 3-0. You need to throw bodies forward.
Peach trying to get around the corner, denied by Ben Kish, but out the end line. So another corner kick coming up for Park Center.
It's actually going to be a throw-in on the. Well, no, they're going to call it a goal kick. Champlin Park looks.
Well,
set
the Cardinals
to throw
will take that.
Yeah, absolutely. So Colmani will move up top. Boyce will move in front of him in that central midfield role. And Colmani scored the lone goal of the game against Maple Grove.
Sauve with a good steal along the side, but then swept off his foot by Joseph Seth. Good opportunity out front almost for Rothermall. This long shot is going wide.
They have pulled most of their senior starters and captains at this point with the game well in hand. Coon Rapids has put up a fight in section play the last couple of years. Have come out on the short end, but I've had the chance to call a couple of those games, and they have battled. I believe last year losing 1-0 to Centennial. I think I have that right.
I'm not going to dispute it.
We'll go with that. Maybe Mike Peterson in the truck can verify that.
Mike was our stats champ on Monday night, coming up with some great historical knowledge.
Rapids lose 1-0 to Centennial last year in the section playoffs.
Here's Boyce again, cutting through defenders until being ridden off the ball. Then the steal right back for a Cassup. Long shot in, and it's handled easily by Isaac Rolick.
And again, at this point, the goal changes, right? You don't worry as much about you losing shape. You're trying to, great hustle by Ben Kish on that tackle. You're trying to throw bodies forward and get goals. So because it's sort of academic whether you lose 2-0 or 4-0.
Yeah, that one goal would carry a lot more weight beyond this game than it would in this game.
And it's a bigger deal, right? Because you don't want to go into the playoffs on a significant pointless streak, right? Having gone 5 games straight without scoring a goal. It's just not something you want to do.
Yeah, 4 in a row coming in, 5 of their last 6 lost by shutout. And the game in the middle was that 1-0 win we talked about earlier. Yeah, Luke Rising, and I mean, he's got, I think, 4 shutouts this year. One was a nil scoreless tie.
But having just done a game myself between Centennial and Spring Lake Park 4-4, I know how potent that Panthers offense can be. So that's maybe their best shutout of the year. SLP, just a 500 team, but they do have some potent scorers up top between Abdul Akinola and Maid Medic.
Well, and I want to say, too, I think he had saves in the teens in that game. You know, it's not like he had a two save shutout.
Sure.
He was busy.
As he is most games, as he has been tonight.
Under 3.5 to play.
You know, it's really interesting. You do not see that many goalies, throw the long ball like that. They seem to either punt it or try to play it out the back, roll it short to their fullbacks. But that long throw, if you can master it, if you can get really accurate, it can lead to a very quick counterattack. Yeah, how did last year's tournament end? I think they lost 1-0 to Centennial.
Cross pass, and here all alone at the back door is Joby. Saved by Rising, point blank. Rebound not cleared. Shot in the middle by Yafondo was blocked. Rebels keep bringing the pressure. Back near side for Joby. Now crossing. A header out front that's going to go wide and out of bounds. Off the head of Cameron Peach.
And just to set the record straight, because we're an ethical bunch here at CTN, Mike Peterson has informed me that the Cardinals season actually ended at the hands of Duluth East, 5-0 last year. not 1-0 to Centennial.
I like
That
the
might have been
1-0. I like the 1-0
That
score
might have
better.
been 2 years ago in the section semifinals. The years start to blend together a little bit. I don't have to tell you that, I'm sure.
Cross was in way tight and an easy scoop for Luke Rising.
I wonder, I would love to know how many pairs of siblings or groups of siblings you and Howie have called over the years.
Oh, lots and lots.
Dozens.
We have seen second generations come through.
It's
We've
amazing.
seen a lot of former athletes go on to become coaches in the area.
Mike Peterson reliably informs me that 2 years ago, it was 2 years ago, where Coon Rapids fell in the section semis 1-0 to Centennial. So I just got my years wrong. It was a year early.
That's better than I could
Don't trouble yourself.
do, I'm sure. Whether a kid graduated from here 3 years ago or 23 years ago, they all seem the same to me.
So Mike Peterson is a stats extraordinaire, as we know, from Monday and then today. But
The brothers.
I'm not sure the
siblings?
siblings thing, that may
Yeah.
be a step too far.
It'd be a lot to try and track down. I can tell you it's a lot.
Yes.
I mean, the Kish brothers, I assume, is part of the reason why that came up. But you got the Kish brothers and the Young brothers
Yep.
playing in tonight's game.
And the siblings on the different teams, too, girls and boys siblings.
Oh, sure. Yeah, we have seen a generation or so go by. I don't know how they define one generation from the next when you call it that way, but
Multi-generation.
the final seconds finally tick off, and the Cardinals will finish the season with their fourth straight shutout loss, 3-0. The final, Champlin Park Rebels notched their 9th win of the season and keep that Cardinals scoring drought continuing on into the postseason.
Yeah, tough one. Cardinals had some chances early, but then Champlin Park did what they do. They possessed. They settled into the game. They played some really nice football and some really nice soccer. And once they kind of settled in and took control of the game, they really did not let up. It looked really good, particularly in the second half. And there wasn't much that Coon Rapids could do. Edwin Boyce, a little spark off the bench, but ultimately that scoreless streak carries on into the playoffs, and Tyler Seidel and staff have some work to do to try to get this Cardinals attack going.
Well, we will be there when the Cardinals hit the playoffs. We may have to decide once brackets come out as far as which one we will do, if boys and girls are at different facilities. But we have the soccer playoffs on the schedule. Prep football still a big question mark. No answers today. Getting nervous. We may not be there. But soccer playoffs next week and bowling coming up next week as well. But that's going to do it for this edition of CTN Sports. Again, the final score, Champlin Park 3, Coon Rapids 0. Want to thank everybody out there for joining us and continuing to support everything we do here at CTN. For the entire crew, including Bill Hupp, I'm Joe Young saying good night.